I never thought I'd see the day when the land my grandfather poured his soul into would become a battlefield. But that's exactly what it turned into. Not with guns or fists, but with lies, greed, and backdoor deals. It took was a single lever, one pull, and everything they stole was washed away. Asterisk, my name is Ethan McAllister. I'm a quiet man. I've always kept to myself, tending to the 120 acres of land passed down to me from my grandfather, a war veteran, and a farmer who taught me that you never take more than you give. Our land had a stream, dense woods, deer trails, and most importantly, a dam he built with his own 2 hands. Not to control nature, but to live with it, to water our crops during droughts, to keep the land green and the animals alive. It was our sanctuary, asterisk, that all changed the day the local homeowners association came knocking, not to ask, but to warn. Asterisk, you're sitting on unused land, Ethan, said a man in a crisp suit. Clipboard in hand, smug grin spread across his face. We're expanding. You can either sell or be left behind. I politely declined. What followed was a storm I didn't see coming. Over the course of 3 years, I was served lawsuits, zoning disputes, property line arguments. My old survey, maps, which had been good for generations, were suddenly incomplete. Meetings I wasn't invited to were held. One morning, I woke up to bulldozers plowing through a patch of trees that had been part of our family for a century. Asterisk, they had redrawn the county lines, without my consent, without even notifying me properly. 35 prefab homes, shiny and soulless, started sprouting on what used to be my land. The HOA claimed they had the permits, claimed my old dam was unused water infrastructure, and that the back 10 acres weren't technically mine. Asterisk, I tried everything, called lawyers, went to town hall meetings, even got the local paper involved. But the HOA had deep pockets and deeper connections. I was a lone farmer. They were a corporate beast. By the time the homes were finished, I had lost nearly 40 acres, including the area around the dam. Asterisk. And here's the kicker. They didn't just steal my land. They cut into the hill where the dam sat, drained part of the reservoir for beautification, and had the audacity to turn the remaining pond into a private community lake, giving it a fancy name and building a gazebo beside it. Asterisk, they paved over my family's history and expected me to smile and move on. Asterisk, but what they didn't realize was this. My grandfather never built the dam to hold water. He built it to survive floods. See, the valley we lived in had once been flood-prone. When I was a kid, he explained how the dam didn't just supply water, it held it back. For safety. He showed me the levers, the old stone sluice gates, the manual override system that had never been modernized. All of it still worked. If the gates were opened completely, especially during a rainy season, the low-lying valley would return to its natural state. A floodplain. Asterisk, I never wanted to use it. I truly didn't. Asterisk, until one day I found a dead fawn by the chain link fence around their artificial lake. Watched them build a tennis court over what used to be a meadow where my daughter and I used to watch fireflies. The final straw was when I got an eviction notice from my own barn, saying it had become an eyesore for the community. Asterisk. That night, I sat by the dam. Rain clouds were rolling in a late summer thunderstorm. I stared at that lever, remembered Grandpa's words, only open it when you've got nothing left to lose, and always warn people first. We're not monsters. Asterisk, so I did. I posted notices on every mailbox, emailed the HOA, I even called their president. They laughed. Touch that dam and we'll sue you into the ground, he said. So I pulled the lever, and then it rained. All night, all day, for 36 hours straight. Asterisk, the dam groaned. The sluices opened wide. Water surged, not wildly, not violently, but with steady, unstoppable force. The lake overflowed. The artificial banks broke. Stormwater couldn't drain fast enough. Within 2 days, the neatly arranged homes had ankle-deep water seeping through their backyards. Power lines were shut off. Mudslides formed along their fake walking trails. Asterisk, by the third day, the HOA finally realized what they'd built their empire on borrowed land. Asterisk, emergency services were called. News crews came, and the story broke. Asterisk, but what shocked everyone wasn't just the flooding, it was the paperwork. Asterisk, because when the water line receded and the damage was assessed, it turned out the original deeds were valid. The county lines had been forged, the HOA's building permits were invalid. All of it was illegal. I didn't have just 120 acres. I had 147 amperes. Whistleblower from the zoning board came forward. Turned out one of the HOA investors had manipulated maps and paid off surveyors to push the expansion through. My grandfather's dam had become their downfall. Asterisk, the homes were vacated. Some were demolished. The court ruled in my favor. Asterisk, they called me vindictive. They called me dangerous, but I wasn't. I was just tired of being quiet. Asterisk, I rebuilt the dam. Planted trees where the homes had been. Turned the artificial lake back into a natural pond, and that old barn they tried to evict. I restored it and opened a small museum inside, filled with photos, journals, tools, and maps of the land and how it had once been loved. Asterisk, people, visit now. They walk through the meadows, read my grandfather's letters, and understand the truth that sometimes the quietest people have the deepest roots, and when those roots are threatened, they don't scream, they flood. Asterisk, moral of the story, never underestimate the quiet ones, especially when their silence protects generations of resilience, love, and legacy. Asterisk,